Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining. We will begin in just a few minutes. Okay, let's get started. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for joining our presentation of the 2023 US and UK Trends Report. This has been a labor of love internally, so we're excited to share with you today. Just a few notes as we begin. We will be recording this session. A copy of the recording will be provided at the end. And then we'll also give you all an option to download a PDF version of this report for your own uses, should you desire it. Information here within is copywritten by AI Palette. And if you have questions, please put them in the Q&A down below and we will address them at the end. My name, as your host, is Michael Maines, and I'm the head of marketing here at AI Palette for North America. And it's my pleasure to introduce to you today our presenter. Kyle Michelle, while relatively new to AI Palette, has a very impressive background in food and flavor, health and wellness, as well as research and data with companies like Givaudan and Google. Originally from India, she works in our North American client success team, and she also loves sports, but she is admittedly terrible at playing them. Sorry, Kyle, I wanted to let everybody know. So now a little bit about context for the report before we dive in. While data covers 21 different markets, which includes US, Europe, and APAC, and more, today's presentation will focus exclusively on the US and the UK. We've identified over 4,000 trends, but we've distilled that down to 4 key trends today for this report. And these trends were identified by studying close to 2.5 billion points of data. So where did we get that data? What does that mean? So I want you to think about it in terms of these buckets. We have 3 primary buckets: online consumer engagement, so social media like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and search like Google. Second bucket, menus and recipes, so Yelp, Deliveroo, allrecipes.com. And the third bucket is product reviews, so e-commerce platforms like Amazon, Tesco, Target, Sainsbury, and Walmart. So that's a bit of background on the report. So let's have a look today at our 4 trends. Kyle, over to you.
Thank you so much, Michael. I was just facing some technical difficulties. I think they're sorted now. A very warm welcome to everybody who has joined today. Thank you so much for being a part of this webinar. We are going to talk about 4 key macro trends for 2023. Let's not waste any more time and let's dive right in. The first trend that we are going to bring to you today is around Nutricosmetics. Now, a lot of consumers are starting to kind of gravitate towards Nutricosmetics rather than topical application of cosmetics. The reason for this is because they are increasingly starting to believe that it is important to nourish from within. So we are going to look at a bit of details on what Nutricosmetics are and how different companies are putting out products into the market in order to maintain their consumer demand and help their consumers, kind of use this trend in order to nourish their bodies. Now, nutricosmetic is a word which is an amalgamation of two words, which is nutraceutical and cosmetics. Nutraceuticals, for the longest time, have been nutrients and micronutrients which are ingested by a consumer for whole body well-being and health. Cosmetics have been topical for the longest time. Now, with this trend, these are combined together, and consumers are taking nutrients in the form of pills and in the form of supplements, and this is helping them nourish the skin, hair, nails, so on and so forth. Consumers are gravitating towards smoothie mixes, the younger consumers mostly, but the good old gummies are also around, and that is because this is one of the most easy ways of consuming a small power-packed nutrient boost. Additionally, we're also seeing a lot of lifestyle choices like veganism, gluten-free food, organic and keto-friendly food. These trends are also making their presence felt. On the right side, over the globe, we have some data points which we have distilled down for you. Now, I'm going to guide you through how to read this data, which will help you look at it in the subsequent slides as well. On the extreme left, we have the category of food in which a particular theme or an ingredient is talked about. In the middle, we have the ingredient or the theme itself, which is followed by the number of engagement points for that ingredient or theme. And then we have the 2-year CAGR. And finally, we have a small symbol which indicates which level of maturity that ingredient or theme is currently in that category for that market. Now, if we see for the US market, collagen is growing with 12.9% CAGR for the last 2 years, with 542.7 thousand data points in the beverage category. Next, we talk about anti-aging as a theme, which is emerging in the US market with 15.5% growth over the last 2 years in the beverage category. And the third area is multivitamin and dairy, which is also growing with a 10% CAGR over the last 2 years. If we look at the UK market, things are slightly different. We see skincare as a theme, which is emerging in the snack category with a 2-year CAGR of 13.6%, followed by multivitamin, also in the snack category, with a 2-year CAGR of 8%. The last is iron as an ingredient in the bakery category, which is growing, and it is growing at a 2-year CAGR of 7.8%. Now, in the subsequent slides, we will be looking at some deep dive and some sub-trends under this trend of nutricosmetics. The first area that we talk about is a very interesting topic, which is ageless beauty. With increased focus on looking youthful, collagen and hyaluronic acid are making their presence felt, and companies are providing much convenient formats to their consumers in order to ingest these ingredients. There has been an immense focus on appearance, part of it because of social media presence, and because of this, consumers are willing to indulge in premium products in order to maintain their youthful look and beauty. Therefore, a lot of innovation dollars are being put into providing the right format and the right product to the consumers with these two ingredients in order to maintain skin elasticity and decrease wrinkles, because both of these aspects have for the long time been associated with youthfulness. Supple skin is always a kind of indication of youthfulness in the popular law. Along with this, a few other interesting ingredients are also kind of making their presence felt. We'll look at it in the next slide. As we can see here, oats is known for collagen and it is emerging in the dairy category in the UK. Kale is known for vitamin C, A, and antioxidants and is also emerging in the beverage category in the US. The interesting ingredient that we talked about is snail mucin. Now, snail mucin has been around for a while now. It was popularized by Korean beauty products. Now, it has made its way into the US, but it's still dormant, waiting there. Waiting for its big opening, so to speak. It's packed with vitamin A, hyaluronic acid, and collagen. Carrot is growing in the beverage space in the US with vitamin A, C, and collagen content. If we look at the retail products, we have three products here, and all these three, interestingly, are based around collagen, right? First one is a gummy booster from the US market. The second and third products are all the more interesting because they have vegan alternatives to collagen and not really the actual collagen itself. So it kind of caters to the veganism, health, and lifestyle trend as well. I'll kind of let you take a look at the consumer verbatim also, which talks about a smoothie which is present on Instagram. In the next slide, we'll talk about another sub-trend under the Nutricosmetic trend, which is functional requisites. The young are including biotin and multivitamins to meet the dietary needs for healthy skin, nails, and hair. Now, fast-paced lifestyle and poor dietary intake has led to a lot of deficiencies amongst consumers. This includes deficiencies in minerals, vitamins, and micronutrients as well. Hair fall, fragile nails, and other skin-related issues are more pronounced because of these deficiencies. As a matter of fact, in the US, there's a study which says about 90% of the population is deficient in vitamins, including A, B, and C. It doesn't stop in the US. It is also seen in the UK, where deficiencies have been observed in vitamin D, B12, and in minerals such as calcium as well. Now, again, manufacturing companies have been putting out products in a convenient format for consumers to ingest these vitamins and kind of have a holistic health and well-being aspect. For flawless skin, consumers are trying to add antioxidants, vitamin A, B, K, and also hyaluronic acid to their diet. Whereas for hair and nails, the focus is more on biotin, protein, iron, magnesium, zinc, and vitamins C and D. We'll look at some ingredients in this space in the next slide. As we can see here, spirulina is dormant. Spirulina is known for its biotin, iron, and vitamin B12 content. It is dormant in the beverage space in the USA. The next interesting ingredient here is rosemary. Now, rosemary, we all know, is an herb. It has been used to add flavor to food for a very long time. Now, we are going beyond that, and rosemary is getting known for its nutraceutical properties as well. As you can see, rosemary is rich in biotin, iron, and vitamin A, and is emerging as an ingredient in the beverage space in the USA. When we look at retail products, the first one is a gummy supplement for hyaluronic acid, collagen, and biotin from the US. The second one is a snack product with micronutrients and antioxidants from the UK market. The last one is a collagen drink with also infused vitamins from the US market, which promotes hair and nail regeneration. Again, we have consumer verbatims where consumers are talking about smoothies and juices which are packed full of vitamins and other micronutrients as well. Moving on. The next area that we are going to be talking about in the prioritizing health space is inculcating better habits. We'll dive a bit deeper here. Post the pandemic, a lot of focus of consumers have shifted to a healthy diet and paying more attention to their health and well-being. Consumers are doing this by choosing products that are no or low sugar, gluten-free, low calories, and no or low alcohol. However, it doesn't stop there. Now, I am not willing to compromise as a consumer in terms of taste or experience of a product just because it's going to be healthier for me, right? Now, this has put pressure on companies to come up with innovation and launch products which are going to give the same or almost the same experience to consumers, but with better health benefits. Now, different countries and different categories are at different stages of development when it comes to trends like low or no sugar products. For example, if you can see from the table here, in the United States, this particular trend in the alcoholic beverage category is in the emerging state, whereas it is growing in the dairy category and is already matured in the beverage category. If we look at the UK, it's growing in the bakery category and is already matured in the dairy category. When we look at low or no alcohol, it is growing in the US while it is already matured in the UK. Now let's look at a bit of a deep dive here as well. First topic is the more interesting topic, which is low or no alcohol. Alcoholic beverages with low calories and low or no alcohol content have become popular without compromising on taste in order to cater to the health of consumers. Now, consumers across the US and the UK are gravitating towards healthier drinking or mindful drinking as themes. Now, their favorite alcoholic beverages and cocktails are being launched. New versions of these cocktails and drinks are being launched with low or no alcohol content. And this is attracting consumers driven by their fitness and lifestyle goals. One more interesting thing that we observed in these products is that a lot of these ingredients and flavors associated are fruit based, or are rather fruit related. The profiles are very fruity. Now, this helps the products maintain their good taste and flavor notes as well. Garnishes are not any longer used just for their look and their visual appeal. They are being used in order to enhance the experience of the consumer who is already consuming a low alcohol drink. These elements are very carefully chosen in order to complement the overall taste and texture of the drink as well. We'll be looking at some ingredients here. If we look at the associated ingredients, you can see a kind of a theme. All of these are sweet ingredients. Now, what companies have done is they have gravitated towards naturally sweet ingredients in order to help combat the effect that is caused by the low or no alcohol theme here. Now, apple, pineapple, honey, and grenadine are all sweet. Grenadine is, in fact, emerging as one of the top flavor ingredients in the beverage space in the USA. When we look at retail products also, we see this kind of clear there. We have a Shirley Temple soda, which is non-alcoholic, and it's a classic alternative to the Shirley Temple cocktail. The second one is non-alcoholic mead, where the traditional mead is made with honey. This is a non-alcoholic version of that. Now, we have a consumer verbatim talking about cider here. Again, low alcohol product with natural sugars, what the consumer is talking about here on Instagram. Let's quickly move on to the next area. This area is low or no sugar. Now, both consumers and manufacturers are not new to this trend. This has been around for a while because sugar has been seen as an unhealthy ingredient for a while by consumers and companies alike. But sugar reduction right now has reached a different stage where it doesn't mean unsweetened any longer. It rather means having the same experience, but with ingredients which are going to give me a lower glycemic index, right? So I will be delivering the same delicious, familiar taste, but with a higher health quotient. So in order to combat rising health issues related to high sugar consumption, consumers are looking at a healthy lifestyle and they want to meet their fitness goals. And so these consumers are seeking out these low or zero sugar versions of the products. Natural sweeteners like stevia continue to be popular substitute in the food and beverage space in both the UK and the USA. Now, this trend is also being complemented by a slight twist in flavors where companies are leaning towards sweeter flavors like salted caramel and butter pecan, which gives richness to the product, as well as natural sweeteners like berries, honey, maple syrup, widely consumed as an alternative to processed sugar. These healthier options have gained popularity amongst the consumers who are seeking the products for their health and fitness benefits. These natural sweeteners provide the familiar sweet taste while also meeting the consumer demand. We look at these ingredients in the next slide. As we can see here, the ingredients which are listed here are all naturally sweet. Again, if we see mixed berry is growing in the beverage space in the US, it is used as a natural sweetener, not just as a flavoring agent anymore. We see maple syrup emerging in the dairy category in the UK as a natural sweetener. We see stevia as a natural sweetener growing in the beverage category in the US, though this is a relatively more popular product. Now, coconut sugar is kind of making its way into the US as a natural sweetener in the beverage space. It is still dominant, kind of looking for its big hit. If we look at retail products, the first product that we have here is a sugar-free, caramel-flavored stevia sweetened syrup, which can be a no sugar, no added sugar alternative for pancakes as well as coffees and smoothies. The next one is a coconut sugar. Now, this product is particularly interesting because it claims to be a one-to-one replacement for actual cane sugar. Now, a lot of consumers struggle with sugar alternatives because they do not know how it is going to perform in their product or recipes, because you don't know how sweet that product is going to taste. Now, with a product like this, it is going to take that headache off the consumer's mind, and you already have a product which can just be replaced. Right. So I think this is a very innovative product. Here in consumer verbatims, we have coffee, which also has fruit infusions, which has fruit pulp in it. Again, you are talking about the same theme here, which is a healthy version of a product which is sweetened by fruits and not by sugar. Moving on. The next subtopic that we are going to talk about here is nootropics and mood enhancers and adaptogenic products. We look at a bit of detail here in the next slide. Nootropics are gaining a lot of popularity. There are two reasons for this. One is people are paying more attention to their mental health these days. And two, people are looking for a competitive edge because it is an increasingly competitive world. While nootropics such as caffeine are used to boost memory, focus, and creativity, L-Theanine is known for relaxation and managing stress. More attention needs to be put on these emerging trends, which are likely to influence product innovation over the next 3 to 5 years. Now, caffeine and L-theanine is emerging or growing in most categories. The related products are also evolving from therapeutic grade to food grade. If we look at the data on the right side, we see that L-theanine is emerging in the dairy category in the US, while it is growing in the beverage category. Caffeine, on the other hand, is matured in the dairy category because coffee has been around for a while. If we look at Alcobev and RTE Foods, it is emerging in the US market. If we look at UK, caffeine is growing in the following categories, which is alcoholic beverages, dairy, beverages, snacks, foods. Let's dive a bit deeper into this trend. The first interesting area that we're going to talk about here is hemp infusions. With rising consumer demand for stress-relieving products in convenient formats, hemp is kind of gaining popularity across markets. Now, when we're talking about hemp, we talk about the properties of energizing and boosting mental alertness as well as managing stress in certain cases. The key challenge around the cannabis industry, though, is lack of educational awareness as well as R&D initiatives because of the legal reasons. At this point in time, the industry is at the stage of recognizing and creating categories because lack of information combined with general misinformation that people have about hemp. Now, let's quickly look at a few products and ingredients in this category. A lot of associated ingredients revolve around cannabidiol and CBD infused products. As we can see, they are mostly dominant, emerging in the beverage category in the USA. The reason behind this is again legal restrictions. There is not a lot of legal a leeway in order to launch the medicinal versions of these products. And in order to make them move from medicinal or therapeutic grade to food grade, again, there needs to be a lot of awareness and education around the category itself. That's the reason why it is where it is. If we look at retail products, the first one is an infused cannabidiol-based gummy bear. It's from the UK market. The second one is an edible brand which has launched a salty and savory cannabis edible. This is from the US market. We also have a consumer verbatim here talking about an infused salsa product. This is from Instagram. The next area that we are going to talk about is caffeinated products. Caffeine also has been around for a while, has made its presence felt and kind of solidified it also. Beverages and food infused with caffeine or naturally rich in L-theanine are gaining popularity because of their mood-enhancing characteristics. Now, caffeine-infused products often appeal to consumers because they are seeking a different way to enjoy a traditional food or beverage and are looking for a feeling of relaxation and stress relief. More often, these characteristics are amplified so as to stand out in a highly competitive category. In addition to coffee, there are several other ingredients that contain caffeine and L-theanine, including cocoa and green tea. Now, consumers who do not necessarily want that kick of caffeine, want a lower caffeine level, or who want something which is in addition to caffeine, like flavonoids. Cocoa has a lot of flavonoids and antioxidants in green tea, or just are not accustomed to consuming coffee. look at these two alternatives as well. They have similar effects, similar stimulating effects without the strong flavor and potential negative effects of coffee. Now, let's look at a few ingredients in this space. As we see, matcha containing caffeine and L-theanine is emerging in the bakery category in the UK, and cacao, which has caffeine and flavonoids, is emerging in the dairy category in the USA. When we look at retail products, Coca-Cola has launched a Coke product with coffee globally. The next one is a product called Bloom in Canada, which is a matcha latte which has been launched with caffeine. I'll let you go through this consumer verbatim, which talks about coffee infused liquor. Been around, coffee infused liquor has been around for a while. Again, this person is talking about it on Instagram. Let's move on to the next slide. Yes, the third theme, and something which I mentioned also is a personal favorite, is rekindling togetherness. If we look at rekindling togetherness, we kind of are brought back to this feeling that the food and beverage market for 2022 finally saw a fully opened industry across the United States and the United Kingdom. Though togetherness is a mature trend in the US in the dairy and beverage sectors, it is still an important theme in the region for brands and consumers alike. Brands are looking at this theme from the lens of marketing and building communities around their brands. In the UK, this theme of togetherness is a growing one in two categories, underscoring the importance of the trend in the country. Now, consumers are looking for experiential products, and so companies are putting out limited time offerings or LTOs in order to focus on these experiences. If we can look at a few products in the next slide. We are going to talk about experiential indulgence under the rekindling togetherness category because this is what consumers are looking for. LTOs in retail and food services focused on immersive experiences and togetherness. Now, LTOs have a very good aspect about them because it lets you cycle through brands and products very quickly. Now, companies can pack a lot of different experiences in a few different LTOs rather than putting out a full-fledged product. Cost-effective offerings that can provide an indulgent experience suited to celebrations while bringing a novel and innovative twist, creating curiosity and an urge to try them, are also giving multisensorial experiences to consumers like taste, aroma, mouthfeel, and are also focused on attractive packaging, so on and so forth. Experience with packaging and concept around the product is also gaining popularity. Yes, these two products are pretty interesting. Now, the first product is a launch by Coca-Cola. It's called Dream World, where Coca-Cola tried to put a product out there in order to help consumers taste what dreams are going to taste like. Now, this is an interesting concept because it builds community. It's an immersive augmented reality experiences catered towards bringing people together. The next product is by McDonald's in the UK market, which was launched during Christmas of 2022. They came up with a unique campaign focused on sharing experiences over gifts during the holidays. Now, they also organized several live events that brought people together, again, in a bid to celebrate togetherness during the holidays. If we look at the consumer verbatim, this is a coffee product, but the interesting part about this product is that it talks about giving back to the community. It talks about togetherness and that aspect of community that consumers have been craving through experiences over the past few years of, being socially distant and not really being able to experience these things. Moving on. This brings us to our last trend for the day, which is plant-based innovation 2.0. Plant-based products have been around for a while, but we are going to distill those trends and bring to you only the ones which are currently very relevant. Let's look at what they are. Yes. 2022 also witnessed a sharp surge in vegan products. This is kind of in line with the health and well-being awareness that was being created amongst consumers as well. Now, consumers are increasingly incorporating plant-based products in their everyday meals in some form or another. With growing consumer curiosity to explore newer formats and bases in plant-based products, there has been a surge in cafes and bloggers adding vegan dishes to their menus and their recipes. This trend, which began with burgers and milks, is now not limited to these two. They have expanded into cheese, yogurts, ice cream, so on and so forth. Now, here also, the consumer is not willing to compromise on taste. If I want to consume a vegan yogurt product, I don't want it to taste necessarily any different from a full dairy cream-based yogurt product. Now, this is what has made companies, or rather forced them to go back to their drawing boards and come up with formats and processes and technology solutions in order to achieve that bridge of gap between a plant-based product and a non-plant-based product, so to speak. We look at what has happened in the next slide. Now, we are going to talk about progressive techniques here. New techniques are being used in producing yogurt and cheese in order to replicate the taste and texture. A lot of money is being spent on ingredients which are going to help achieve these textures and taste features, right? Food innovators are innovating vegan cheese and yogurts with fermentation using microalgae and bacteria that are genetically modified in order to produce compounds which are necessarily found in animal-based cheese and yogurt. These compounds are further added to create plant-based products that have a similar protein and fat content that is found in animal-based products. Now, they're likely to attract consumers because of their sustainability features and also because of their superior taste experience as well. We look at a few products here. The first product that you see is the Revel and V Garden cheese product, which has been put out in the market. By incorporating microalgae-based protein, V Garden has developed this plant-based cheese that will overcome the hurdle of taste, texture, and appearance. Along with our high protein content, this product is going to be available by the end of 2023. The second product that we see here is algae for sustainable health and nutrition. The third product that we see here is a dessert product which has been created by precision fermentation in order to create milk proteins from microflora like yeast and plant-based protein products. I would like to bring your focus to the consumer verbatim here. Now, what we see here is a product which is a starter culture. Now, it's a vegan starter culture. There has been a bit of challenge in terms of fermenting plant-based milk in order to get a vegan yogurt product. Now, that is because a lot of cultures that we have currently are animal protein based. Like you have a yogurt culture which we can use. Now, companies are putting out products like this which can be added to plant-based milks at home by consumers in order to create plant-based yogurt products. I think it's a pretty interesting product, so to speak. This kind of brings us to the end of our presentation today. I would say thank you so much for tuning in and listening, and I hope that we have been able to leave you with some interesting ideas and thought starters for your new product innovation and pipeline building as well. I'm going to pass on the figurative mic back to Michael. Thank you so much again. Michael, over to you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate it. It looks like we don't have a lot of questions, so this is the end of our presentation. Thank you so much, everybody. Again, we will be sending you a follow-up email with a recording of the presentation, as well as an option to download a PDF version of this. Should you have questions or want to speak with our team, that email will have contact information. We thank you very much for joining. Have a wonderful afternoon.